Welcome to another episode of Purpose Today. I'm your host, Dr. April Dobson, and I'm very excited about continuing our career clarity series. And today we're actually talking about I want a promotion. And what I want you to begin to think about is I want you to begin to think about whether or not you've positioned yourself, whether you've properly positioned yourself for the promotion that you are desiring. And I also want to just share with you that many times we have a desire to have a promotion and we don't necessarily always know what's the best strategy, where do we start? So if you're a professional who is seeking a promotion, you have a desire for a promotion, you don't know where to start, and you want clear strategies on what to do, stay tuned for the full episode because I'm going to talk about 5 key questions that you'll need to ask yourself and some considerations that you need to have if you desire to receive a promotion. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these special sponsorship messages as we continue in our Career Clarity series and we talk about I want a promotion. So stay tuned after these special sponsorship messages.
Dreaming of writing a book, launching a podcast, or creating a digital course? Ready to finally align your career, creativity, and impact? The Purpose Aligned Life Premium Coaching Cohort is here to help you turn purpose into reality. You'll receive tailored services, a personalized one-on-one assessment, 10 weekly group sessions, and exclusive strategy session, all for your desired transformation.
And if you're interested in registering for the next Purpose Aligned Life Premium Group Coaching Program, where you can have accountability and partnership to help you to author a book, create a coaching program, and launch a podcast, click the link that is available in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. So we're going to jump right in to continue our Career Clarity series. And today's episode 69, focuses on I want a promotion. And I do encourage you to pull out a pen and paper or your iPad, your notes on your laptop, whatever you prefer, because we're going to talk about 5 questions that will help you if you answer these questions and some strategies that will position you for a promotion, because you need to be prepared for the promotion that you are desiring. So you want to ensure that you're positioning yourself. And if you have any questions, I do encourage you to type in the chat what your questions are, any comments or feedback. Feel free to put that in the chat, because I had the distinct pleasure of helping clients. I've had the distinct pleasure of God blessing me with a promotion. We know that promotion comes from God, but I want to give you the strategies that are going to help you to be purpose aligned in your career and receive a promotion. So let's jump right in. So these are the questions that you want to ask yourself. And we're going to start with the first one, and I'm going to work through each of these. The first question that you want to ask yourself is, why do you want a promotion? So it's very important that you actually sit down, you're introspective, you're reflective, and you ask yourself, why is it that you want a promotion? Of course, there are many reasons that some people will indicate that they want a promotion. Some people want a promotion because they simply want the additional salary. Some people want a promotion because they want to serve at a greater level. Some people want a promotion because they know that they've hit a ceiling where they are. Some people want a promotion because they've made the most impact that they can make. But that's the first question that you want to ask yourself, is you want to ask, what's your motivation? You want to be clear on what your motive is for the promotion. The reason that that is important, at some point in the process, when you're applying, when you are being interviewed, the question is going to come up. Why are you interested in this position? Why did you apply for this position? So you want to know first before you even set out on looking for opportunities. You want to know why you're actually seeking the promotion. And that's going to actually help you to focus your efforts, because if you know your why, if you know your purpose for applying for the promotion, it is going to help you focus on what is important. Now, if for whatever reason you want a promotion and it's for the wrong reasons, I challenge you to really shift your mindset, shift your motive. You want to ensure that wanting a promotion comes from a pure place. It's coming from a place of service. And we're going to actually talk more about that a little bit later in today's segment. But you want to ensure that you know and you have a pure intention, a pure motive, a positive reason for desiring the promotion. And having is going to help to prepare. It's going to be important for you to use that why to focus your efforts. So if you know that what you're doing is something that you've made all the impact, you're as effective as you can be, you have really used your skills, your gifts, your callings, and your assignment in that role, you know that time has reached the point that it's time for you to transition and to grow. You know that you've prepared for a succession plan. You've made the investment in other people. You have given to others, and now it's time for someone else to step in the role that you're in, and it's time for you to elevate into something else. You want to move forward with those efforts, and you want to clarify exactly what will be the next opportunity that will fit what you've been dreaming about, what you've been desiring, and most important, what is going to fit and align with your purpose, which leads me to the second question that you want to ask yourself. How can you better align with purpose? So you might very well be aligned with purpose in your current position, but the time has come for you to elevate and to do something else. So you want to ask yourself the questions: how can you better align with your purpose with the promotion? I have a client who I helped and within the last year, and this client loved what she was doing. She was aligned with purpose, but she knew it was time for her to step in more of a leadership role in her organization. She had been in leadership in prior positions, but she wasn't in a leadership role. She was serving and making such a valuable impact, but she knew it was time for her to do more. So we talked about how could she better align with purpose? What did that look like for her? What did she envision herself doing at a greater capacity? And so you want to decide and identify how you can better align with purpose. That is your second question that you want to answer. And when you identify that, it's going to allow you to list what you can do to make a greater impact, which we're going to talk about. It's going to identify what you can do to serve people at a greater level, which we're going to talk more about. It will show you the types of activities that are going to be important for you. That is critical. And so you want to ensure that you are clear in writing down as much as you can articulate as it relates to being able to better align with purpose. And when you do that, that is actually going to give you a framework that you can use to help you search for the right opportunities. Now, I actually want to show you when you exhaust that list, and I didn't exhaust this list, but I just want to show you, you can actually, once you write that list, you can use the list that you have to use AI to help you maybe identify some things that you never would have potentially thought of. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I want to show you all practically when you come up with your list, right? When you come up with the things that will allow you to better align with purpose, there's a lot of ways that you can align with purpose. So this is what I did because I wanted to show you all a practical example how you can use any AI tool. Now in this case I use ChatGPT, but you can go high level, you can use any AI tool that is out there. But this is what I did. I have nearly 30 years of experience and I wasn't very detailed. But I have nearly 30 years of experience and I'm seeking a promotion and want to use my skills in HR and human capital management. And purpose is to help people with strategies to pursue their purpose. What remote opportunities are available in the U.S.? Please show references and links. And you can put whatever country, whatever city. I just did this just to show you all an example. And so again, in doing that, what came back is I would not limit your search to traditional HR manager roles. This is the result. Your combination of human capital experience, leadership, maturity, coaching, career strategy, and a purpose centered on helping people pursue meaningful work points towards director, senior director, VP, human capital consulting, talent management, organizational development, workforce transformation, and people strategy roles. I searched current U.S. remote opportunities, and there are several roles that appear particularly relevant. And so you can see here, there's a senior director of people and culture career team. This tells why it might fit, where it's located. Now, the thing that it didn't do that I asked it to do was to give sources, right? The sources for the information. So far, there aren't any links here, right? But you could add more information to help it better refine the results. Now here, this is an embedded link, so I can click on this and it shows the opportunity, right? And you can click apply. So I just wanted to show you all practically how you can use, and I'm gonna stop screen sharing. I'm gonna remove that for now, but I wanted to show you all practically how you can use AI tools once you've created your list, because again, I said you need to ask the question and clearly be able to delineate how can you better align with purpose. Now, here's the thing. You can get the answers to these other questions that we're going to actually arrive to and that we're going to take a look at to also put that in with your prompt. The next one is who do you want to serve, right? So you want to think about who you want to serve in terms of what does the target audience of people who you want to serve, what does that look like? Do you want to help people? And I'll give you an example just using mine. You know, my desire is to help professionals who are between the ages of 30 and 70 to better align with their purpose, with strategies to better align with their purpose. And I say 30 because most people don't realize that they're not aligned with their purpose until they're over age 30. In fact, based on a study that was done, the statistics showed that the majority of people are over 40. In terms of, it's over 75% of people who are over 40 before they align with their purpose in their profession or their business, right? So you can put more information in your prompt, right? But you want to start as a basis with putting the number of years of experience that you have, the skills that you want to utilize, what your purpose is, right? And you can even put in who you want to serve, right? So you want to answer that question clearly. Who is it that you want to serve? Do you want to serve people who are facing homelessness to help to eradicate homelessness, to eliminate poverty? Who are the people who you want to serve? Do you want to serve working moms who want to create balance so that they can be effective? Do you want to serve stay-at-home moms, right, who want to earn revenue while still being able to take care of their family? Do you want to support dads who have taken a leave of absence from work to take care of their spouses who are their wives who are experiencing an illness. Who do you want to help? Who are the types of people who you want to serve? So you want to think about those things. And then you want to also answer the question, and you want to write these things down. And you want to also think about what type of impact do you want to make? Do you want to make an impact on youth in African countries? Do you want to make an impact on youth in inner cities? Who do you want to actually serve, and what type of impact do you want to make? And you want to be able to write all these things down, ensure that it's clear, it's documented, and you want to also think about what level of impact you want to make. Do you want to make an impact at the local government level? Do you want to make an impact at the state level? Do you want to make an impact in the United States? Do you want to make an impact in Brazil? Do you want to make it? Where do you want to make an impact? Do you want to make an impact that actually is a multinational impact that impacts many nations and many countries? What is your desire and level of impact that you want to make? So once you've written all of these things down, you can actually begin to focus your effort on the types of opportunities that fits into those parameters. Like I said, I did just a simple, I put into ChatGPT. I had not done that before this morning, but I put it in right before I came on live, just so it would do the prompt and it would give an opportunity to show whoever tuned in live today how you can use ChatGPT or other AI tools to help you to find opportunities. Because what this actually did, and I want to see if this will allow you to see the vacancy that I clicked on. So basically what I did, because these are embedded links, right? So there's this Senior Director of People and Culture opportunity. And I think it doesn't automatically go to share that screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share that screen, because I want to show you practically how you can actually use this tool, other tools. So this is the opportunity that once I clicked on the link, it went to the Senior Director of People and Culture. So this is an actual announcement. So you can use this prompt and use it to identify opportunities. Like I said, you could put in the city and state, you could put in the country, you could put in whether or not you're looking specifically for remote opportunities. So it is going to help you. The other thing that I want to talk about, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to answer the questions that you all have started putting in the chat. So let me just go to those, because I haven't looked at those so far. And I do appreciate you, Justina, for that compliment, that this is a great episode. And the first step towards to take towards positioning yourself for a promotion is asking that question that I shared. Why do you want a promotion? That is the first step. The reason that that's the first step, it's going to allow you to answer your why. And when you know your why, you're able to focus your efforts after you've answered all the other questions. So great question, Justina. That is the first step, is to identify your why in terms of why you want the promotion. And once you've identified your why and you've written it down, then you can proceed to the other questions, answering those. And those other questions, the answers to the other questions and that question combined, will allow you to position yourself, because I'm going to talk more steps of positioning yourself. We're going to get into those, what you need to do with your resume, what you need to do with LinkedIn, how you need to network. We're going to get into that. but I want to, ensure that I answer some of the other questions that are in the chat as well. So great question, Justina. So thank you for that feedback and that great question. So I see Fazrot says, how can we know if a promotion opportunity truly aligns with our purpose? So that's a great question, Fazrot. So first, it's knowing what is your purpose, right? And when you know your purpose, you can ask yourself a series of questions that will help you to know whether or not it aligns. And if you want to be able to see it practically, write your purpose down on a piece of paper. And then you can, on the right side, so on the left side, you put my purpose, you put what the purpose is below that. And then on the right side, you start answering this second question that I gave you all. And I'll put that back on the screen if you all want to see those questions again. The second question is, how can I better align with my purpose? So instead of simply asking, how can I better align with my purpose, you ask yourself the question first. When you want to make sure that it aligns, you ask yourself the question of, how does this opportunity align with my purpose? And you list the things about that position that allows you to align with purpose. And then you can ask the question, how can I better align with my purpose? And when you answer that question, see how the position allows you to do that. Also, ask yourself the question, who do I want to serve, right? Who is it that I want to serve? And then what type of impact do I want to make? And what level of impact that I want to make. When you answer those questions, you're addressing the things that are aligned with your purpose and your passion. And so if you're able to answer those questions on the right side, in terms of how does this position align with my purpose? How does this promotion align with my purpose? How does this promotion allow me to serve the people who I want to serve? How does this promotion, and again, looking at these questions, how does this promotion allow me to make the type of impact that I want to make? How does this promotion allow me to make an impact at the level that I desire to make an impact? That is what's going to help you, Fazrot, to identify whether or not the promotion aligns with purpose. And that is not something that someone else can tell you. That's something that you are going to need to address. And I always say this, and I can't say it enough. Ensure that you are praying first before applying for certain opportunities. Ensure that you're praying so that you can have a clear direction from God on a path that you need to take for your life. And that is going to help you to save valuable time. But I'm giving you practical steps as well that you can actually take to position yourself for a promotion. David asked, what are the biggest mistakes professionals make when asking for a promotion? So I want to talk about a couple of mistakes that professionals make when they are seeking a promotion. One of the mistakes that people make is they make the mistake of saying, I am simply going to look for promotion opportunities that are the next path of growth in my industry, or that are the next path of growth in my position or in my organization. That's not the approach that you need to use when you're looking at a promotion. You want to look at what is a way that you can greater align with purpose. What's a way you can greater fulfill purpose? What are the ways that you can solve the types of problems that you want to solve? What are the ways that you can help the people, the people who are experiencing the problems that you want to solve? What are the types of impact that you want to make? So that is a big mistake in just looking at the progression based on the industry, or based on the organization, or based on the career path. That you don't want to make that mistake, right? You want to use these questions that I gave you and answer these questions so that you can ensure that you are properly aligning with your purpose, and better aligning with your purpose as you are looking at promotion opportunities. The other thing that another mistake that I see people making is they focus primarily on the salary of the promotion instead of focusing on the impact. and focusing on the purpose alignment. If you focus on purpose alignment and impact as your first priority, then you are going to position yourself to exponentially increase your salary and your income. Of course, you want to also receive income and receive a salary, but your focus should not be first on the salary. The other mistake that people make in terms of promotions, that professionals make as it relates to promotions, they assume that because they haven't done something, they're not qualified. And that is far from the case. A lot of times, organizations and organizational leaders are looking for people who have certain leadership skills, certain communication skills, certain a baseline of technical competence, but they're not looking for someone who has met a full requirements list. That's not the case. When you look at leadership, often you want to be able to have the ability and capacity and desire to lead people, to have the opportunity, to have the capacity and the desire to be results oriented and be able to create an environment where organizations can have results, right? You want to have the ability to empower people to create development programs or ensure that there are development programs for people who you're leading, right? So those are the biggest mistakes that you want to avoid as a professional. And keep in mind that as you're going into leadership, it's about leadership competencies more than it's about technical competencies. And thank you so very much, Tobias, for saying that this is such a powerful topic. And thank you for asking the question. So Tobias's question is, what's the best way to position yourself for growth when your hard work hasn't been recognized yet? So here's the thing that I want to give you a reality, Tobias. Sometimes your hard work hasn't been recognized because you're not in a place that values the efforts, that values your leadership, that values your skill set, right? Sometimes you are in a place where you're not being recognized simply because it's time for you to pivot or shift to something else. And sometimes you may be in an organization that just simply isn't great at recognition, right? So this is why your motivation has to always be purpose alignment, fulfilling purpose, doing what you are purposed to do, what you're passionate about. And that gives you the sense of fulfillment. Now, of course, everybody wants to receive recognition and appreciation at some point. But if you are aligned appropriately with purpose and you're doing what you're passionate about, oftentimes that will overcome if you're in an organization that's not great at recognition. But when you're seeking new opportunities, just to ensure that you don't end up in that situation again, when you have organizations who value the expertise that you have, they value your leadership, they're very quick to ensure that you're invited for an interview. They're very quick to extend an offer, right? But you can ask questions because you're going into a leadership opportunity. You can ask a question. Maybe you ask a question that says, I always want to ensure that people who I am leading receive recognition for what they're doing. And I know I can recognize them by sharing with them and praising them for their efforts. What are some of the recognition programs that this organization has established to reward high achievers, right? So you can ask that question as one of your questions in your interview when you're asked at the end, do you have any questions? You can also do in your research, You can do research to see what other people are saying about the organization. The federal government has Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey. They have the best places to work, and you can look at those to see how an organization has fared in a lot of different areas, including recognition. So great question, Tobias. But the best way to position yourself for growth, and we're going to get into that now, is when you've decided why you want a promotion, when you've decided how you can better align with purpose, who you can serve, what kind of impact you want to make, and the level of impact. Now you need to begin to review your resume to look to see if you've articulated within your resume the answers to these questions in some way, right? And you want to be able to show from a quantitative standpoint and from a qualitative standpoint how you align with purpose, how you've served people, how you've impacted people. So you want results. You want to show how what you've done has helped your organization and has helped the people in your organization and the people that you serve, right? You want to ensure that's articulated in your resume. And once you've articulated it in your resume, you then want to go to your LinkedIn profile, update your LinkedIn profile so you've articulated it there as well. What you also want to do is, if you don't have endorsements and recommendations, you want to find out whether or not current colleagues, prior supervisors, whether or not they can endorse you. The other thing that you want to do is you want to ensure that you are periodically posting on LinkedIn highlights that will give social proof, right? So let's just say, for instance, you led an effort to provide, and we're in the month of August, so a lot of students are going back to school. Some are going back in September. Maybe you organized a back to school drive that served over 1,000 people in the community and distributed 1,000 backpacks, and that was able to meet with parents and give them consulting on how they can best position their children for an amazing school year that allows them to use the different platforms that are available to view their students' progress, view their child's progress, whatever it is. You can post some pictures from that event, and you can say, I had a phenomenal time on this past weekend partnering with, this organization for the back to school drive. We were able to serve over 1,000 families. And, you put that recap. So these are the things that you can do. You can also find virtual master classes. You can find different virtual networking events. And you want to ensure that you are also, to position yourself for growth, also start having informational interviews with people who are in the types of opportunities that you envision yourself pursuing or potentially pursuing, and let people in your network know that you're open to promotion opportunities, who you want to serve, what type of impact you want to make, and that's going to help you. So great question, Tobias. Thank you for that. John Morris says, I'm curious about this. What should someone focus on first when they know they're ready for the next level but don't know where to begin? As I mentioned, the first thing that you want to do is identify why you want a promotion, why you're ready for the next level, and then identify how you can better align with purpose. When you answer these questions first, this actually helps you to set your why and to set how you need to focus on new opportunities. That's what you want to do first. That's where you start. And then when you've answered all these other questions that we talked about, then you can start doing informational interviews, networking, but be sure that you update your resume, update your LinkedIn profile before you start networking, before you start the informational interviews, because once you have your LinkedIn profile and your resume properly focused and restructured, it's going to start attracting people and recruiters to your profile, especially if you're using the approaches that I talked about with creating posts and insights on things that you're doing that will serve the types of people who you want to serve, that will make the type of impact that you want to make. And then you also want to ensure that you're resharing content and creating engagement for what resonates with you, right? Great question, John. Thank you so much for that. So I see Justina says great insights. Thank you so much, Justina, for that compliment. So I see James has a question. What's one action viewers can take today to start positioning themselves for promotion? After they've answered all the questions that we talked about, the next thing that they can do, and I want to show you all these questions again. After they've answered all these questions, they can revise their resume and their LinkedIn profile, as I mentioned, and then they can start networking and informing people in their network that they're looking for opportunities, that they're ready to grow. And they should also start ensuring that there's a succession plan for the position that they're in and that they're training someone to assume their current role. So great question. Thank you so much for that. I'm not going to have time to answer all the questions this morning, but I'm actually going to do a part 2 tonight at 6:30 and get to the remainder of the questions that I was not able to answer today. If you want to ensure that you are on the mailing list and there's any insights that are shared in our Career Clarity series, and you want the resources for the Career Clarity series, I do invite you to subscribe to our email and e-newsletter list. I've put that in all of the chats so that you can see it. But unfortunately, I won't have time to get to all of the questions that have been asked today. I do appreciate all of you for watching. And I appreciate all of you for the engagement and for answering the questions. I'm going to actually take out my cell phone and I'm going to take a picture of these questions that are here that I didn't get to this morning. And we'll do a part 2 this evening. I know this is a great topic that a lot of people are looking to ensure that they're positioned for a promotion. So I'm just taking a picture so that I'm able to come back this evening, pick up where we left off, and be able to answer these questions on tonight. And so what I'm also going to do is I'm just showing on the screen, we were able to talk about one action that viewers can take today to start positioning themselves for a promotion. And I see that at Venture Show asked, should you ask for a promotion directly or first ask for feedback about your readiness? That is a great question. We're going to get more into this evening, but what I do want to say, and I'm trying to capture all of these, what you want to do is you want to ask the question, what are the requirements for promotions within your organization, and what can you do to better position yourself for a promotion? And we'll talk more about that tonight. And thank you so very much, Branson, for sharing that you love this discussion and that purpose-aligned growth can truly change someone's career path. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Thank you so much, Olivia, for that. You are more than welcome. I'm so glad that this has been practical and that this has been helpful for practical information on earning the next opportunity. So you're very welcome, and thank you so much for viewing and for that feedback. Thank you so very much, Matthew, for sharing that this is a great show and that you're especially interested in hearing about the 5 keys to elevation. So that is all that we have time for this morning. I do thank you all for tuning in for this episode, this new episode in the Career Clarity series, as we've talked about purpose-aligned career. I want a promotion, and I want you to think about now and answer the question now. Are you prepared for the promotion that you desire? And if based on what we've talked about today, you've discovered that you're not prepared for the promotion that you desire, I encourage you to start implementing these strategies that we've talked about and be sure that you answer these questions and that you're positioned for a promotion. So we're going to be back tonight at 6:30 Eastern Time for part 2 of I Want a Promotion in our Career Clarity series. And if you haven't joined the mailing list to receive all the resources that are available, not just in this Career Clarity series, but all the resources from Purpose Today Global. I know I host the Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson podcast, but I also have the pleasure of being a success and career coach and being the CEO and human capital director of Purpose Today Global. And so if you want to receive all the valuable resources in the Career Clarity series and beyond, I do encourage you to join our mailing list and complete the short, brief electronic form so that you won't miss any insight. And so thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on YouTube, on the at Dr. April D. Dobson YouTube, and on the at Purpose Today, and on LinkedIn and Facebook. So thank you so much. If there was something that you gained, a tidbit that you gained today, please feel free to type it in the chat so that someone else can benefit from your key takeaway from today's session. So thank you so very much for tuning in. Again, I appreciate you for watching this episode in our Purpose Aligned Career I Want a Promotion in our Career Clarity series. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on this evening as we continue part 2 and we do a question and answer session on I Want a Promotion. So thank you all for tuning in. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you all this evening at 6:30 Eastern Time. Stay tuned for this special sponsorship message on the Purpose Aligned Life Premium Group Coaching Program. And if you are interested in more information on the next Purpose Aligned Life Premium Group Coaching Program cohort, you can schedule a Zoom for more insight by clicking on the link. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you all this evening. Have a terrific Thursday and make it a purpose-filled, joyous day.
Dreaming of writing a book, launching a podcast, or creating a digital course? Ready to finally align your career, creativity, and impact? The Purpose Aligned Life Premium Coaching Cohort is here to help you turn purpose into reality. You'll receive tailored services, a personalized one-on-one assessment, 10 weekly group sessions, and exclusive strategy session, all for your desired transformation.